Hey, what is up, Kings? Hope all is well as usual. I wanted to again talk about the workplace and the difference between men and women and the expectation. So, when I was in a leadership position, one of the things that took place was expecting, and I'm just going to dive right into it, is there would be an expectation that women could only talk to women. And what I mean by that is if there was a female staff, it was acceptable, and who knows, maybe this is not the same across the board, but when it comes to where I have been in the past, this was something that and has been something that is practiced, where women can request to only speak to a fellow female, specifically in a leadership position, and discuss certain topics. I wouldn't say this if I only saw this once, but I saw this numerous times. I saw multiple times men and women in leadership positions acknowledge that it was a practice that they thought was a good practice. Now, here's the thing. Honestly, I agree with that. I like, all things being equal and us not living in the current day and age that we live in, I would agree that men communicate better with men and women communicate better with women. Now, I do think, though, that men still do have a certain way that they are able to get through to women. There's a certain aspect to a man's authority, his stature, that is able to get through to women sometimes. Sometimes women, when it comes to other women, will kind of have like a bitchy attitude towards one another. Like, oh, this bitch, like, who does this bitch think she is, sort of thing. But by and large, I would agree with that. But the thing is, and this is where it all comes falling down, is this is supposed to be an equal society. And this is what Andrew Wilson always talks about. I forget the actual phrase. I think it's Schrodinger's feminist. I think that's what it's called. Regardless of what the actual name is, the principle is that women want this buffet-style feminism approach or equality approach. They want equality when it benefits them, but they want the traditional male-female distinction when it doesn't. They want to infiltrate, and I'm going to do a video reaction on this. A perfect example of this is Andrew Wilson recently. He's a popular YouTuber. A lot of you guys probably follow him. He had this chick who is rumored to be sleeping with a guy that Andrew was beefing with. And Andrew, when they were on the same debate, and this girl was on the debate as the mediator, did not treat her any different than she would treat anybody else in the space. And she goes on later to say that she didn't think that that was fair. She didn't like how Andrew said something. And Andrew pointed out, this is exactly what I would say to a dude. Like, I would say to a dude, are you fucking that chick? Nah, bro. You know, that's how men communicate with one another. Nah, I wouldn't fuck that chick. And so essentially, Schrodinger's feminist aspect, that's a perfect example of women wanting to infiltrate male spaces, but they still want to receive the same reaction by men with like the kid glove type approach. They want to be treated distinctly and as a woman, but they want to enter into men's space under the guise, the false pretense of them being equal. And so this happens in the workplace too, where men and women are supposed to be equal, but in reality, HR really only exists for women. HR is literally a management arm of whatever organization that exists, and is literally a way for them to have a built-in female leadership position, because 9 times out of 10 HR is female, and so it is a built-in method to have a female within leadership. And that female in that position, her primary task is to make sure that women are protected. Now, they obviously don't say that, but that is in practice what it ends up being. Because when you, and any man can attest to this, when you actually try to apply these same standards across the board, where if you were to go to HR about shit that women complain about towards men, such as a woman touching a man inappropriately, making inappropriate comments, which I've made plenty of videos on, he would not be given anywhere near the same attention that she would be given as a woman if a man came forth, or if she came forth and said that this man did X, Y, and Z and she didn't feel comfortable. Believe you me, it is given all of the attention in the world when a woman comes forward and says that she does not feel comfortable by a man. Even if all it is merely saying his presence makes me uncomfortable. So I do these videos, guys, because I don't want men, especially who enter the corporate arena, because this is where a lot of women have entered. Equality has, the field that they have entered is the corporate structure, because it's not as labor intensive. I don't want men to be blindsided by these realities. It's not right, and I hope that it can be fixed someday. And we do need to have men's groups to protect men and put the heat on some of these organizations to stop being so one-sided. But what started all of this is merely to point out the fact that it is acceptable for women to say, no, I feel more comfortable talking to a woman leader. And let me tell you guys something. You rarely see this from men. In my experience, having a man come forward and say that he only felt comfortable talking to a man maybe happened once or twice. If that. Men, and I've done videos on this in the past, are very, they are not as nearly as professionally offended. They are built to work. They go with the flow. They do what they're told. They do what they're asked. They don't bitch. They don't moan. And that's all there is to it. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Last but not least, DBAP, don't be a pussy willow and facts are feelings, because your feelings just don't matter. Love you, kings. See you guys next time. Christ is king. Peace.